Have you ever sat through a presentation packed with valuable information, only to realize that very little of it actually stuck? As educators, we've all experienced this challenge. Whether we're teaching in a lecture hall, facilitating a small group discussion, creating online modules, or recording educational videos, the goal isn't simply to deliver information. The goal is to create learning experiences that learners can understand, remember, and apply. Research shows that effective presentations aren't just about having great content. They're about presenting that content in a way that aligns with how the human brain actually learns. In this video, we'll explore evidence-based multimedia principles that can help health professions educators create presentations that are engaging, memorable, and effective. So, what makes a presentation effective? An effective presentation has four essential characteristics. It's appealing, it's engaging, it's informative, and it's concise. The most successful presentations capture attention, maintain interest, and communicate ideas in ways that learners can retain long after the session is over. Today, educators have access to more tools and technologies than ever before. We can combine text, images, video, audio, animations, and interactive activities to support learning. But simply adding more media doesn't automatically improve education. In fact, poorly designed presentations can overwhelm learners and reduce learning outcomes. The key is using multimedia strategically and intentionally. One of the most influential frameworks in educational multimedia comes from Richard Mayer's cognitive theory of multimedia learning. This theory is built on three fundamental principles. First is the dual channel principle. Learners process verbal information and visual information through separate channels. Second is the limited capacity principle. Working memory can only process a small amount of information at one time. And third is the active processing principle. Meaningful learning occurs when learners actively engage with content by selecting important information, organizing it, and connecting it to prior knowledge. Together, these principles explain why presentation design matters so much. When we overload learners with unnecessary information, we consume valuable cognitive resources that could otherwise be used for learning. Now, to understand effective presentation design, we also need to understand cognitive load. There are three types of cognitive processing that influence learning. The first is essential processing. This is the mental effort required to understand important content. The second is extraneous processing. This refers to mental effort spent on things that do not contribute to learning, often because of poor design choices. And the third is generative processing. This is the effort learners invest in making meaning, building connections, and creating lasting understanding. As educators, our goal is simple: reduce extraneous processing, manage essential processing, and encourage generative processing. So, how do we apply these concepts in practice? Mayer's multimedia principles provide evidence-based guidance. Let's start with strategies that reduce extraneous cognitive load. Remove unnecessary content. This is known as the coherence principle. Avoid decorative graphics, irrelevant animations, excessive text, or background music that doesn't support learning objectives. Use the signaling principle by highlighting important information. Bold key terms. Use arrows, contrast, or visual emphasis to guide learner attention. And follow the spatial contiguity principle. Place labels close to the graphics they describe rather than forcing learners to search across the screen. These simple changes can significantly improve comprehension. Next, we can help learners manage complex information more effectively. The pre-training principle suggests introducing key terms and concepts before diving into more advanced material. The segmenting principle recommends breaking content into smaller, learner-controlled sections rather than presenting everything at once. And the modality principle reminds us that spoken narration is often more effective than presenting large blocks of on-screen text. Instead of asking learners to read paragraphs, consider using narration alongside relevant visuals. On another point, effective presentations don't just communicate information. They help learners build understanding. The multimedia principle tells us that learners benefit from words and pictures together rather than words alone. The personalization principle encourages a conversational tone instead of overly formal language. And the voice principle suggests using a human voice rather than an artificial one whenever possible. These approaches help learners connect with content and support deeper cognitive engagement. Evidence-based presentation design isn't only about cognitive theory. Basic graphic design principles also play an important role. If learners can't easily read your content, they can't learn from it. We should also limit the number of fonts and choose contrasting colors that improve readability. And remember one of the most valuable design principles: less is more. So let's be simple and use focused visuals that are often far more effective than crowded slides packed with information. Also, video has become an essential component of modern health professions education. Whether you're teaching asynchronously or supplementing classroom instruction, several best practices can improve educational video design. Align every video with clear learning objectives. Keep videos concise whenever possible. Research consistently shows that learner engagement decreases as video length increases. When content is complex, consider breaking it into shorter segments. Add opportunities for active learning through reflection prompts, embedded questions, discussions, or self-assessment activities. And ensure videos are accessible by providing captions and transcripts whenever possible. These features don't only support accessibility, they improve learning for all students. As you review your own presentations, videos, and learning materials, ask yourself a few simple questions. Am I minimizing distractions? Am I highlighting what matters most? Am I helping learners process information in manageable chunks? Am I encouraging active engagement? And am I designing with accessibility and usability in mind? Small changes can make a significant difference in learner outcomes. The goal isn't to create flashy presentations. The goal is to create presentations that support meaningful learning. So, in conclusion, effective presentations are more than a communication tool. They're an instructional strategy. By applying evidence-based multimedia principles, reducing unnecessary cognitive load, and designing with the learner in mind, educators can create learning experiences that are engaging, memorable, and impactful. The science is clear. How we present information matters just as much as the information itself, and when presentation design aligns with how people learn, everyone benefits. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in more evidence-based strategies for health professions education, be sure to explore additional resources from Lecturio for educators.